Let me ask you something. What's holding you back? Not the excuses we tell ourselves, but the real answer. The truth is, most of the barriers we face are self-imposed. Habits we've built, beliefs we've internalized, fears we've never challenged. These aren't just quirks of human nature, they're limits we've placed on our potential. These ideas and conversations are at the heart of what we explore here. So if you don't want to miss any updates, subscribe now and click the bell icon to get notified whenever new content is uploaded. Today, we're going to explore how to break those limitations, how to rewire your mind, and take control of your future. Why do we impose these limits on ourselves? Our brains are wired for efficiency, for survival. They constantly are looking for patterns, creating shortcuts and building habits. That's brilliant for remembering how to drive or to make a cup of tea without burning the house down. But those same patterns can lock us into cycles of fear, doubt, and hesitation. When left unchecked, they become chains. Take fear. Fear of failure is one of the most common self-imposed limitations. It paralyzes us, keeps us from taking risks, from stepping into the unknown. Why? Because our minds equate failure with danger. Evolutionarily speaking, that made sense. Failure could mean death, but in modern life, failure is rarely fatal. It's a teacher. A study from the University of California found people who experience failure and reflect on it tend to perform better in the long term. Success is built on the back of resilience, not perfection. Then there's negative self-talk, that relentless voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough. It's insidious. It feeds on your insecurities and grows louder every time you give it power. But here's the thing, those thoughts, they're not facts. They're stories. Stories your mind creates, and like any story, they can be rewritten. Cognitive behavioral therapy has shown that challenging and reframing these negative thoughts can significantly reduce their impact, leading to improved mental health and confidence. Societal expectations are another trap. We're told to fit into certain molds, to meet certain standards, and if we don't, we feel like we've failed. But think about this. Who set those standards? Why do they matter? A 2018 study published in the Journal of Social Psychology found that conformity often stems from a fear of rejection rather than genuine alignment with societal norms. These expectations are illusions, and they're only as powerful as we allow them to be. And finally, our own perceptions can be the biggest limitation of all. We think we see the world clearly, but in reality, we're just looking through the lens of our past experiences, our biases, and beliefs. It's like staring at the world through a dirty window and convincing yourself the grime is part of the view. Research in neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, shows that our perceptions can be changed, but only if we challenge them. So how do we break free? First, you need to recognize the chains. Awareness is the foundation of change. You can't fix what you refuse to see. Take a hard, honest look at your fears, your doubts, and your beliefs. Where did they come from? Are they serving you, or are they just holding you back? Once you've identified the limitations, challenge them. There's a powerful technique in Neuro-Linguistic programming called the meta model, and it's about cutting through the generalizations and the distortions. When you catch yourself thinking something limiting like, I'm terrible at public speaking, stop and ask, specifically when have I been terrible? Keep drilling down. Who specifically said that? What specifically happened? Where specifically did this idea start? By the time you reach the root, you'll often find there's nothing substantial holding that belief up. It's just a phantom that you've been carrying around. Next, take the small deliberate steps outside of your comfort zone. You don't have to leap into the deep end, just dip your toe in the water. Speak up in a meeting, try something you've always avoided. Each small victory builds momentum. And before you know it, your comfort zone has expanded. Here's an interesting detail. As you expose yourself to new experiences, your genes, yes, your genes, activate in new ways that help you adapt and thrive. A 2014 study in Nature Neuroscience highlighted how environmental changes can influence gene expression, essentially allowing you to become more resilient. You're literally unlocking more of who you are at a biological level. How extraordinary is that? Now, let's talk about mental training. Journaling, meditation, and focused breathing aren't just feel-good exercises. They're tools for rewiring your mind. Take the mountain meditation, for example. Visualize yourself as a mountain, solid, unshaken, enduring. Studies such as one published in Frontiers in Psychology in 2020 show that visualization practices like this not only reduce stress, but also build resilience. The mountain metaphor helps to anchor your identity in stability and strength, regardless of the storms that rage around you. Over time, this practice can retrain your mind to approach challenges with equanimity and calm. Mountain meditation also enhances your sense of perspective. By focusing on the enduring qualities of the mountain, you cultivate a mindset that sees challenges as transient, like passing weather, rather than permanent obstacles. Long term, this improves emotional regulation. It decreases impulsive reactions, and it boosts your overall mental clarity. In fact, research from the University of Massachusetts highlights how consistent meditation reduces activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, and strengthens connections to the prefrontal cortex, which governs rational decision-making. Let me share a story that encapsulates the essence of breaking limitations. Plato's allegory of the cave. Picture this: a group of prisoners, chained inside a dark cave. They've been there since birth, facing a blank wall. Behind them burns a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners is a walkway where people pass carrying objects, whose shadows are cast on the wall. The prisoners have never seen the real objects, only their shadows. To them, these shadows are reality. One day, a prisoner is freed. At first, he's blinded by the fire's light. It's painful and overwhelming. But as his eyes adjust, he begins to see the objects that were casting the shadows. For the first time, he realizes that the shadows were mere illusions. Emboldened, he ventures out of the cave. The sunlight blinds him again, but gradually he perceives the true world in its vibrancy. Trees, rivers, the sky, a reality far richer and more complex than the shadows he once believed were everything. This newfound understanding compels him to return to the cave to free the others. But here's the tragedy. They don't believe him. They're comfortable in their ignorance, fearful of the unknown. Some even resist violently, preferring the familiarity of the shadows to the blinding truth of the light. We are all prisoners in our own caves. The shadows represent our self-imposed limitations, the beliefs, fears, and patterns that define our reality. Breaking free requires not just courage, but also resilience, the willingness to endure discomfort, to question everything you've ever known, and to face the unknown. If you found value in this video, it would mean a great deal to me if you would subscribe. That way, you won't miss any updates, and together, we can continue this journey of becoming the best versions of ourselves. Let's keep this journey going together. So here's my challenge to you. Identify one limitation that you've placed on yourself. Just one. Then, take a small, deliberate action to challenge it. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be a start. Because every step forward is a step closer to breaking free. Remember, the chains that bind you are often the ones you forged yourself. And that means you have the power to break them. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep pushing forward, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's keep growing stronger together.